Now, while people prepare for the storm, many worry about the cost of the aftermath. Those with flood insurance will be happy they invested, while others will take another hit on the chin in this tough economy. With us now is Jessica Hanson from the Property Casualty Insurers Association of America. Jess, welcome. Great to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so let's talk about the possible costs here. Do you have any idea what we could be looking at total if this hurricane were to make direct landfall?
Absolutely. Well, for example, after Katrina, you saw upwards of $17 billion in flood damages.
Right. Let's take a look at some of the insured losses from costly hurricanes. Katrina, the total for everything, $48 billion. Andrew, $27. These are big, big numbers, and coming at a time that this country just frankly can't afford it. And, of course, you were bringing up the flood insurance program and how it's behind. It has no money. Congress yet to put a dime into the till, despite the fact that, Earl is knocking at the door. What's going on?
Well, unfortunately, since 2008, we have entered into the cycle of these short-term extensions of the program. The National Flood Insurance Program is the primary writer of flood coverage in the United States, and that means that you cannot buy flood insurance through the private marketplace. And since 2008, unfortunately, the program has been stuck in the cycle of just a political deadlock. I mean, we cannot get the program out of 2-3 month extensions. That means in 2010 alone, the program has expired 4 times, and during a program lapse, that means that you cannot buy a new flood insurance program, you cannot extend your flood insurance program,
right,
you cannot buy additional coverage.
So this is creating lots of problems for consumers and insurers alike, because you guys are really the sales force for the federal government with the flood insurance program. Tell me what kind of problems this is creating on the ground for people. Does that mean that their insurance coverage lapses during these times?
If your insurance policy is up for renewal during a lapse, you are going to have some major problems. You are not going to see the coverage. Now, some of these lapses have only lasted for a matter of days. Some have lasted for a matter of weeks. But another huge problem is that during a lapse, you cannot close on a home if you are required to purchase flood insurance.
Unbelievable.
So we're seeing thousands of home closings that have been delayed during these lapses, just adding further insult to injury for the real estate market.
Congress obviously typically comes up with a dough because, it's too embarrassing not to. There are all kinds of problems with the insurance program. But I understand that a lot of insurers have been walking away from even getting involved with a flood insurance program. And, of course, that's been a big problem across the board with homeowners insurance, is a lot of the companies have said, hey, this is too much for us, we're walking away. What can homeowners expect out of your industry this fall as what could be a very active hurricane cycle gets underway?
Well, there are really 2 issues at hand, and one being the flood insurance program. Like you said, private companies are the ones who administer the program, and we're just seeing more uncertainty in the marketplace, and that's why this is a top issue for insurance companies. We want to continue to work with the federal government to make sure that coastal residents, and really residents across the country, have access to flood insurance.
Just following up on the question I just asked you, do you expect insurers to walk away, to continue narrow the circle on what they're willing to cover these days? I know it's been a tough environment for insurers. It's been a tough environment, frankly, for a lot of companies. But homeowners out there want to know, are you going to be there, or are coverages going to be constrained even more?
Well, moving more into the wind insurance aspect of that question, we have seen some instability in the marketplace in the southeast and coastal areas. I mean, it really depends on how state governments approach wind insurance. You've seen states like Louisiana and Mississippi, South Carolina, and most recently North Carolina, who have taken really responsible private market approaches to how they manage their coastal insurance risk. Things like building codes and better land use policies. But unfortunately, in some states, you've seen really restrictive regulatory environments and misguided state policies that have really have created availability and affordability issues.
Just one more quick question. Are we just insuring too many homes with the flood insurance program? Are we just expecting the federal government to cover too many homes that are too much at risk during these big storms?
Well, we've got to look at appropriately pricing risk at this point. The National Flood Insurance Program is currently saddled with over $18 billion in debt. I mean, that alone is forcing the federal government to pay, or forcing the flood insurance program to pay almost $1 billion just in interest alone. So we've got to look at a well-balanced, holistic approach to reforming the National Flood Insurance Program, and that starts with accurately pricing risk.
All right, Jessica Hanson, thanks for your help today.